What happens if your brain never experiences silence anymore? Not only physical silence, most modern brains are constantly stimulated. Music while walking, videos while eating, notifications during work, scrolling before sleep, content during every moment of boredom. Your brain rarely experiences uninterrupted stillness, and over time, this changes how the nervous system functions. Let's begin with attention. The human attentional system evolved in environments with fluctuating but relatively low informational density. Attention was designed for selective focus, environmental awareness, and periodic recovery. But modern environments overload attentional systems continuously. Your brain processes enormous amounts of sensory input every day: visual information, emotional content, social comparison, notifications, multitasking, language processing, rapid novelty, and decision-making. Now, attentional systems remain partially activated all the time. This creates cognitive fatigue. Now let's discuss neural noise. The brain constantly filters competing signals to determine what deserves attention. Under chronic overstimulation, irrelevant input accumulates, increasing internal neural competition and reducing signal clarity. Now focus weakens, mental fatigue increases, and cognitive efficiency declines. Now let's connect this to the salience network. The salience network helps the brain decide what is important enough to prioritize. Under continuous stimulation, the salience system becomes overloaded by excessive novelty and emotional input. Now the brain becomes hypersensitive to stimulation, while simultaneously less responsive to ordinary experience. This creates paradoxical exhaustion. Now let's discuss the default mode network. The default mode network becomes active during internally directed states such as reflection, memory integration, autobiographical processing, emotional regulation, and meaning construction. Importantly, this network is most active during quiet, wakeful rest. But constant stimulation suppresses these states. Your brain consumes information continuously without fully integrating experience. Now, emotional processing becomes incomplete. This is why many overstimulated individuals feel emotionally crowded, but psychologically disconnected. Now let's connect this to dopamine. Dopamine systems are highly sensitive to novelty and reward variability. Continuous stimulation repeatedly activates reward circuitry, increasing baseline arousal while reducing sensitivity to slower, lower intensity experiences. Now silence feels uncomfortable, stillness feels boring, and the nervous system begins craving stimulation simply to maintain baseline engagement. Now the brain loses tolerance for quiet. Now let's discuss sensory recovery. Neuroscientific research suggests that periods of reduced sensory input help restore attentional capacity, lower autonomic activation, and reduce cognitive load. In other words, the brain requires intervals of lower stimulation to recover neural efficiency. Without these intervals, cognitive fatigue accumulates continuously. Now, chronic sympathetic activation becomes relevant. Continuous sensory engagement maintains mild stress activation throughout the nervous system. Cortisol and arousal systems remain elevated longer than intended. Now your brain struggles to fully deactivate, even during rest. Now think about modern behavior. Most people never experience complete cognitive disengagement. There is always input, always stimulation, always something entering the nervous system. Now the brain loses opportunities for recalibration. Now emotional consequences appear. Attention span weakens. Patience decreases. Emotional resilience declines. Overthinking increases. And ordinary life begins feeling emotionally flat compared to high-intensity digital stimulation. Now here is the key insight. Silence is not empty. Silence is neurological recovery. Silence allows the nervous system to reduce processing demand, restore attentional stability, integrate emotional experience, and recover baseline sensitivity. Without silence, the brain remains overloaded. Now, what happens if this continues long-term? Mental fatigue increases, motivation weakens, cognitive flexibility declines, and eventually, the nervous system begins operating in chronic overstimulation mode. Now, how do you reverse this? First, intentionally create low-input environments. Your brain needs periods without novelty. Second, reduce simultaneous stimulation. Single-channel attention reduces neural competition. Third, allow boredom and stillness. Recovery often initially feels uncomfortable in overstimulated brains. Fourth, protect transition periods, especially mornings and pre-sleep states. These periods strongly affect nervous system regulation. Fifth, rebuild attentional depth slowly. Longer periods of uninterrupted focus restore neural efficiency. And finally, understand this. Your brain was never designed for permanent stimulation. It was designed for cycles of engagement and silence. And without silence, the nervous system eventually loses the ability to fully recover. If you found this helpful, subscribe to NEXPLAIN